Hey y'all, what's up? It's me, it's Paris. We back at it again. Come on, y'all, come in the room. Let me know you hearing this piece. How has your day been? It is another week. Matter of fact, we're in November. So I'm excited because I don't know if y'all realize it's like the second to last month of the year. Like what? Like we're almost in 2022. Like what? It came so fast, like super fast. So it's just really interesting how this all played out. So y'all come in the room. Let me know that you're here. I'm just sharing. While I'm sharing, I wish you guys would share because it's always somebody that could use some information on these topics. That's how I always say. Um, and then guys, give me some feedback on what you thought about the healthy relationships series that we did. I really thought it was some good stuff in there because I just know that you can't have too many. Um, you can't have too many messages about healthy relationships and what to do in them because we always think we know and we don't always know, and it's important for us to acknowledge that. While I'm waiting for one or two more people to join. I'm gonna start on in a second. Um, hey cuz, hey Willie. I also wanted to share with you guys. I saw my son this weekend. It was so good. I went down to Atlanta to see Makai. Anybody who didn't know, my son's at Morehouse. This is his first year, and if you can see my shirt, I'm the mom of a Morehouse man. Yes, 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 yes. So I've been representing all weekend. It was so good to see him. And we hung out. We went to the Toby concert. We just had a really good time. It was just good seeing him. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good weekend. Good weekend. I got back Monday morning, and so I'm back in it. But it was good to see my baby. So let's see. Let's see. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna start just because I don't want to hold up too much longer. It's been 5 minutes. So seasonal affective disorder. Now, this might not be what the whole series of the month is about. This is just something I thought was important for us to discuss today. So I wanted to talk about it. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Seasonal affective disorder is basically, you've kind of heard somebody say seasonal depression. You probably heard of that way, right? Seasonal depression, and basically, um, it affects people mostly in climates where the temperature changes, and they have the four seasons. They have like the spring, fall, summer, and winter. And so I thought because we have daylight savings time coming up this weekend, and it's getting darker and it's getting colder and it's reminding us that winter is pushing in here. I thought it was a really good time for us to kind of talk about this. I think that people don't think it's real, and I think that people think it's imagined. And I think that people, if they need to understand what the symptoms are, they need to understand what you can do to combat it, and they need to understand why it exists, right? And so I'm going to give just some basic definitions first, right? Because I think a lot of people think they know and they don't. And so, let's give some basic definitions. Seasonal affective disorder. It's a form of depression that people call. They have the if you can see, seasonal affective disorder has the initials SAD. So sad. You might hear somebody say, "I have SAD," and I used to be like, "What the heck are they talking about?" They don't have good grammar, and I didn't understand that's what they were talking about, right? So but it's also called seasonal depression. Some people call it winter depression. Um, and so if you actually went into the psychology, psychiatric book, it will tell you that this is it's a type of depression that's under the category major depressive disorder with seasonal pattern. Okay. If we wanted a technical name for it, that's what you see it show up as, right? And what the main thing we need to understand that is this is more than just what people call the winter blues, right? More than just, oh, it's less sun, more cold, I hate it, right? um this can be a wide spectrum of symptoms, right? um we need to understand that and they say, and this is why I say they, I'm not disputing what the doctors say. I just think a lot of stuff is underreported. Let me just say that. So can I, again, I'm in the process of getting my psychology degree, and so who am I to debate what people say or what the studies say as far as numbers? But I think that most things are underreported. Can I just be honest? And I think a lot of the people that they actually encounter for the studies are the ones that will be honest about it. And I think there's a lot of people who don't talk about it. And so I just think that the numbers are always skewed in that format. And so I think that when you don't know what the symptoms are, you won't know that they exist. Okay. So they say only about 5% of adults in the US experience that. And it typically lasts about 40% of the year. But if you think about it, that's about right, because if you have 4 seasons, the beginning of spring, the end of fall, and all of winter is kind of darker, longer darkness in the days and less sunlight. And so that makes sense about 40% of the time, right? And uh so again, it's like that's where the numbers come for it. That is the extreme one, right? When I say 5%, they're saying that's the ones that have symptoms that are at the extreme end, that are very overwhelming, that cause people to not go out the house anymore. Some people can't even go to work. Some people can't parent. Some people are not able to even get up and do anything. They don't get up and shower. It gets to be very debilitating, right? Debilitating. And then it really is linked to a chemical imbalance that they are saying is prompted by the daylight hours and the less sunlight, right? And so it's even to the point where they're saying there's a shift in your biological clock, your internal clock, and that'll cause you to be out of step with your schedule. It's almost the same thing as you ever hear somebody say, hey, I'm on a certain sleep schedule, or my child is on a certain sleep schedule, and we had a week or a day, a couple of days that something changed, and it was hard to get back onto that schedule. Same idea. It's like your body's having a hard time to adjust to the less daylight. And we already know what daylight does. Well, we know what sunlight does to our bodies. Like, it actually transforms into a vitamin D in our body, which is necessary for us. So you can imagine what getting less sunlight does to you. Let me give you some of the symptoms, right? Here are some of the symptoms. Not everybody has the same symptoms. These are some common symptoms. Again, there's a spectrum of this, right? So there's some of the very low end and the very high end. I'm going to say some of the ones that are very common, right? Fatigue, being extremely tired, decreased physical activity, right? Probably because of the fatigue, right? A change in the appetite, craving like starchy foods, like comfort foods, like pastas, starchy things, which then leads to what happens a lot, which is weight gain. Some of this stuff seems like it's all like going to the same place, but it really is different symptoms of this depression that we don't talk about enough, right? We think people just tripping, right? But we don't understand that this is something that really affects people. So the next time that you really accuse somebody of faking, or you accuse somebody of just being lazy, or just, oh, you're just so sensitive, you just sway with the emotions. Like, sometimes this stuff is really real, and I think um most of us maybe deal with some slight symptoms, but for the ones that are dealing with the full fledged ones, you really shouldn't. You need to be more educated so you don't minimize their experience. Because guess what? When someone tells you what's going on with them and you minimize it, let me tell you something. They're gonna stop talking to you. They're going to shut down because now you have minimized or you have invalidated their experience. And I know you're thinking, well, come on, Paris, are you really, you've been really extra about this right now? And I'm not trying to be extra. I'm just being honest. If someone tells you how they feel and they're telling you their experience and you make it like they're exaggerating, trust me, that person won't continue to tell you about that, which is sad because they don't give you a chance to correct yourself, right? So just keep educating yourself, keep being mindful, think about it. Kind of try to think about it in these times when people have said something to you like this and you've minimized it, right? Let's be careful with that. Hey, Yolanda girl. And so let me give you some more symptoms. So a tendency to oversleep, or it's actually called something called hypersomnia, a tendency to oversleep, feelings of hopelessness and sadness. And that's when it gets to the extreme one, right? Like, anybody knows, like, I don't, let's be clear, I am a snow grouch. I do not like this winter season. I just don't. It's just not, it's not me. I don't understand. It's not how I live. I don't like it. I just don't. I don't like it. I've just always been against it. However, I don't think the one thing that separates me, I know that I have a form of this, which is mine's a little different. I don't have the hopelessness and the feelings of sadness, right? There's also thoughts of suicide. Again, this can get very dark, very quick for somebody that's really dealing with this at the bad end of the spectrum. They're in the house, they're feeling very sad, very hopeless, and then they get to the point where they feel like suicide is the only way out because they are trapped and there's no way to get it. And they feel this in impeding doom. So again, this is nothing to play about, it's nothing to joke about, and that's why I'm trying to educate us on here. Yolanda, you say you've been there. Yolanda, you've had seasonal depression, or have you just had regular depression? And the reason I'm asking is because I want to be clear about the difference between the two. And I think I might, it's funny because you bring it up. I think I might actually do a whole series on depression, which is why this came up. And I'm like, you know what? I did a series on anxiety, but I didn't do one on depression. So that might be what I might want to do. You know what? I think I might do that because we got, the holidays are coming up. So that's a real thing. A lot of people a lot of people are very happy around the holidays. There are a lot of people that are also very sad around the holidays because of different reasons. Maybe they've lost a loved one. Maybe they don't have as many friends, and they just don't have people around to celebrate with, or just the idea that their life is not where they want it to be. So yeah. Okay. Yolanda, help me out. We're going to do a series on depression this whole month of November. I know that sounds so dark, but I think that it's a necessary topic, and I think we need to talk about what's going, what to do, and what the signs are, and how to deal with it. And that's why I came out the box with this seasonal depression one, because I really, like I said, the daylight savings time thing is going to happen this weekend. And when that time shift, and even before that, I've talked to some people that I know that suffer from it, and it's already becoming a hard thing to wake up. It's becoming a hard thing to want to go do things. If they're working out every day, they don't go to the gym anymore. They're eating things that they know they're not supposed to eat. It just becomes harder for them to move around. And so, to be honest here, if we don't talk about these things, people suffer in silence, right? We don't want that, right? Another thing is another symptom is difficulty concentrating, increased sensitivity to social rejection, right? This is even, we've talked about social anxiety. Remember we talked about that? Well, the other side of it is, when somebody wants to do something and they cancel or something, that person is going to be more rejected, feel more dejected. and really kind of avoid more social settings because of it. And so these are all topic symptoms that we need to look out for. So um, again, this is something that we have to be careful because a lot of times it's misdiagnosed as other things, right? Because these symptoms share, these are common symptoms, and they kind of share diagnoses. So we got to be very careful. One of the things that I thought was pretty interesting, they said it could be misdiagnosed as is hypothyroidism or hypoglycemia, and I was just like, whoa, okay, I didn't even know that, right? So that was important. So again, the cause of it is not fully known, but we do know that there is related to the body's level of melatonin, right? And it affects that sleep wake cycle. Um, Darkness, so the longer darkness in the days, it stimulates that the production of melatonin, and that always prepares our body to sleep, right? So that's why you get to the point where when it gets darker, you want to sleep more, and um, it becomes a point where you get real lethargic, right? Um, and then the other thing is you've heard of serotonin, right? That's a neurotransmitter, and it influences our mood, and it's kind of what people call the happy, you know, the happy hormone, right? And I don't know if you say it's a hormone, but it's people call it, the happy chemical that's in your body that it produces. And um because of the sunlight and the lack of sunlight, vitamin D again, um it plays a high role in serotonin production. So when you have less sunlight, you're going to have less serotonin, and therefore that causes some significant issues with depression as well. Um, so it becomes a thing where this is more than just somebody not liking the winter time. It can be really serious. And I urge you to take people who say something about it regularly, take them a little bit more serious than just kind of dismissing them, right? Or if it's you, hey, guess what? It's not just you. It's more people that deal with it, and let's talk about it so we can get to the bottom of. Hey, mom, love you. And so treatments. Well, one of the treatments that are very well, first of all, we all know how I feel about therapy. Again, I know people are like, oh God, parents, like, are they paying you? No, they're not. And I don't care that I'm going to school for it. I know there are other things you can do, but I think that's the first step to getting diagnosed with it, right? You could just be having a mild version of it, which is very common. They say about 30 to 40% of the population deals with it. That is like, that is like in a temporary form. But the one the one to worry about is the one that gets real extreme and interferes with your daily life. And you want to know if you have that extreme one, right? And so I definitely suggest going to a therapist and having them take a look at your symptoms, because sometimes the combinations of some symptoms when it's on set, um, what happens when you get these symptoms, it all matters, and it can kind of tell you how to move forward. Um, Another thing is a lot of you've probably heard of people talk about light therapy. That is somewhat helpful, where they have those artificial lights. I don't know if you guys have seen them, those light boxes that they'll have you set up. I have even wanted to get one before. I bought one of these glowing light things I thought was going to be super helpful for me at one point, because I'm like, if I, first of all, I work in an office setting. I get to work very early and I leave working late. What does that mean in the wintertime? In the wintertime, it means that I come in when it's dark and I leave when it's dark. So because of that, and if I don't go out for lunch, and if I just stay in the building, and then because it's cold, a lot of time I don't go out for lunch. So that makes it so that I miss all the sunlight during the week. You hear me? I miss all the sunlight during the week because it's usually dark when I get there, dark when I leave, and I don't go outside for any sunlight. And so I either have to be very intentional about it, or I have to go ahead and try to get other ways to get sunshine, right? And I was thinking to get one of those boxes that on my desk that can give me some. I wasn't successful with one version that I bought, but I've heard there are many different ones. So light therapy is one way to combat it. Another one is if you can get out and get more sun, that is the number one way to do it. I'm just being honest here. Like for example, I just said I don't go out for lunch in the wintertime. Well, sometimes I have to say, okay, Paris, get up and go. You don't want to because it's cold, especially, but sometimes you need to try to do something. They have windows, so sometimes maybe I need to just go have lunch in a different area that has some windows where I can get some sunlight, right? So that's something that you can look at and do as well. So getting more natural sunlight is so important. We definitely need to try to do that more often. That can definitely combat it. Another thing that is helpful is vitamin D supplements, right? If you get the vitamin D supplements up, it should help you with that serotonin level, and that serotonin level will help combat some of these symptoms that you're getting, right? Um, and I'm not saying taking large amounts of vitamin D by itself is going to help. I think it's more so with the combination, because trust me, if that would have helped in some cases, that would have been great. Um, if you go to a psychiatrist, they might give you medicine. They're antidepressant medications. I'm not suggesting them. I'm not saying anything's wrong with them either. I believe that if you need medicine, it's nothing. It's not different from needing, you know, um, pills for insulin for your diabetes. It's nothing different from taking cholesterol pills. If you need some pills for your wellness, you need to take them, and that's it's nothing wrong with that. If it helps regulate you, I'm tired of this whole idea of, well, I'm not believing what the doctors say, and so I'm not going to do that. Listen, that's your choice, but it gets to a point where we have to stop rejecting everything when it's convenient, right? When you have a headache, like I heard someone say this is so important to me. It was so interesting to me. They was like, you'll say I won't, listen to the doctor over here, but when you don't feel good, you run to the store to go get Tylenol. That's that's medicine too, fam. You run to the store to go get the strongest thing that they have behind the counter. Just because you can get it from behind the counter, you don't have to talk to a person, doesn't mean that it's not medicine. So, and the doctor probably is the one who told you that you should take something like that when you have those symptoms. It's the same idea, right? Let's stop being selective with our thinking. You have every right to be selective, but sometimes if you need it, if you're dealing with like heavy loads of depression and you could go to a doctor and they subscribe an antidepressant, um, I mean, it's your choice on what you do, but if you want to get well and that's the only thing, if you've tried every other natural thing and it's not worked, then it's good to go ahead and take that antidepressant. I mean, read the symptoms of and I mean, not the symptoms, but the side effects and things. Be very educated about what you need to do. But if it can help, I'm just saying that sometimes we need to think about what can help us, right? That's just something that I want to put out there. That's my little public service announcement. But and so another thing that's kind of cool or is that exercise. Exercise is very helpful when it comes to increasing those natural chemicals and bringing your body back and giving it some of that energy that can combat the fatigue, that can combat the lack of serotonin development. It's very important to be able to get your blood flowing and get your energy and your heart pumping. It's really important. So if you and I know it's hard because again, you're having the fatigue, you're having the inactivity, not wanting to get up. I even saw a symptom said heaviness in your arms and legs, and I thought that was so important because I remember feeling that before, and I was like, oh, that's so crazy. But um, just didn't even realize that had something to do with it. And it's just like being mind over matter, and it's not that easy for everybody. So I'm not minimizing it, but for those of you that can say, "Hey, I acknowledge what this is. Let me push myself to go to the gym. I know what this is. I know what I'm feeling. Let me get out of this stupor." And let me tell you something. For me, I get really exhausted and really tired in these months. So sometimes it's really good for me to work out. Matter of fact, it's easier for me. This sounds crazy. It's easier for me to work out in the winter than it is the summer. It really is. So this is kind of my time of year. It's hard sometimes to just mentally think about it, but it actually helps me overall. If I just go ahead and do it, it's like beneficial to me because it's like I get that extra energy I need and I can be very productive throughout my day, right? So keep that in mind. That is something definitely um, important. And then here's another thing. We're talking about things that you can do to combat it. I thought I saw a really cool conversation that some people were having that were talking about the things that they deal with when it comes to this disorder. And I thought that it was pretty incredible that people deal with it and don't really know what to do. So they were given a couple of ideas of um, stuff you could do. Here's one of them. Be intentional about your social life in the winter months or around this time. I know we really want to stay in the house, and guess what? It's nothing wrong with that. But I think that you have to be careful because, especially if this is SAD for you, um, it will keep you in the house for that whole time of the winter, entering the fall, entering the spring. It's really important for you to be really, really conscious about not becoming a complete isolated person during this time. It can affect you in more negative ways than one, right? And so I just feel like you should be intentional. Like, for example, when it's cold, I don't like to go anywhere. But guess what I do? I sometimes force myself to say, hey, if this is an important event to me, if this person is important enough, I'm going to make myself get up and go. And guess what? On that day, I have to fight everything in me because let me tell you, sometimes it's so many factors. I think of the weather. I think about, do I feel like being out there? Like it's just a battle. And it's not that much of a battle at all in the summertime for me. But oh my God, when it's cold, I'd be like, why am I even doing this? I'm doing this, and it becomes this whole thing. And guess what? When I push myself to go, I feel better. When I push myself to go, I am around people who I choose to be around, and it actually helps my overall mood, and it helps me to interact. Um, and I'm telling you guys, you got to remember, we're still kind of in a pandemic, right? Not kind of, we're still in a pandemic. Let me just call a spade. Because we're in a pandemic, why am I being super careful? Because you remember this time last year, we really didn't have the option of being able to go anywhere. People were still in the house, people were still in lockdown, everything was still quarantined. Since we got the vaccine, people can get out and do a little bit more. I know some people think that's um risque. Listen, whatever your comfort level is, but I am telling you, I'm not asking you, I am telling you, don't forget, I started this whole thing during COVID, during the beginning of the pandemic, because isolation for some people is very bad. And even not for some people, isolation affects all of us. Extended isolation without the correct forms of um, alternative activities is very hurtful for people who are suffering with depression, anxiety, social anxiety, and this type of thing, the SAD, the seasonal depression, is very, it just heightens a problem that's already there. So we have to be careful about what things are just, oh, I just don't feel like it, and what things are becoming to be where you're seeing a pattern where now it's been months and you've been in the house and you've not seen the outside. Especially now that people work from home, you need to be really careful when you work from home because you can mess around and not see people for months, okay? And it's not really good for you. I know it sounds cute, it's really not. You really need to make sure you're intentional about your social interaction. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about even healthy relationships and what was I talking about too? I think I talked about self-care. When I did the self-care series, I was talking about self-care for your social self. Be very intentional about having a social life. I don't care what that looks like. If that social life for you is going to a book club, if that social life for you is going to, a weight training group that you interact with. If that social life for you is in a mom's group where you guys talk about stuff with the kids, I don't care how you get it. And so the reality of it is that, like, don't let SAD or seasonal depression rob you from that. It's really easy to do that at this time of year. And so, that's why I'm talking about it, because I just know it's showing up. And I listen, I know more people are dealing with it than they're talking about. So that's okay. You guys don't have to necessarily speak on it, but I know that it's helping somebody, because it's something that we don't really talk about nearly as much, and we just think, oh, it's no big deal, it'll pass. Um, so, oh, I don't know if I told you guys this, and I don't really like to say this, but I'll just say it. I find this in some of these I'm sorry, y'all. Some of these it's psychology studies. They just do this a lot. They say more women have it than men. And let me say this: I think that more women are they're more expressive when it comes to their emotions, or being honest about it. I don't necessarily always think it's more women than men, but I can understand the thought process of it. So I'm gonna just say it can affect everybody. They're saying women are 4 times more possible to suffer with this than men. I just don't think the men talk about it. Just being honest, they don't want to seem like they're weak. I know one guy that's on my there's one guy, and I think I'm gonna try to bring him on an interview, and that'd be a good idea. This one guy on my Facebook, and he talks about it regularly, and I love it, because you don't see men that are really open about this. That are really open about suffering from this thing and having these type of problems. I'm sorry, y'all. My cat Onyx had surgery today, so I'm having to watch her because she's being a little extra crazy right now. So that's why I can see me look away. I apologize. It's like I have a whole baby right here. Um, but yeah, and so yeah, Yolanda, you said it's more men than women. Yes, there are more that deal with it that don't talk about it, and they want to. They make it seem like they're weak if they speak about them having issues in these areas. So and other men especially think it's weak. Where I know for facts that they deal with it. And like I said, this one guy I can't remember his name. I would shout him out right now, but I'm gonna try to bring him on my live one day. And he openly talks about it. He said, it's this time of year right now where it gets really hard for me and I really suffer. He's like, I've been suffering with this for years. And I love it. I know some people are like, whoa, how are you talking about that? I absolutely love that he's so open about it and he's aware of what happens, so that he doesn't slip into the slope of it and just go quiet. So I think more people need to do that and be more aware of it. And so let's see, I said about the social life. Make sure you're eating healthy foods. Why? Because what you put in your body is just as important as how you treat your body, how what you do to your body. Certain foods do help produce these natural serotonin levels as well. And so just trying to maintain a healthy diet during this time is really important too. It will help you to not listen. Let me tell y'all something. Comfort food is so easy to do in the wintertime. I want right now, let me tell you, I want some chicken and dumplings. Right now, I'm telling you, I was thinking about making a chili. I said, oh, I could do some zuppa Toscana soup. I had all type of thoughts. I wanted to make some cornbread. Thanksgiving's coming up. Y'all know it's going to be the dressing and the sweet potato and the macaroni and all that stuff. But let me tell y'all, I know y'all won't hear this, but having that food too often is just so horrible for us. And it attributes to all of this stuff as well. It really does. So we got to just be super careful. Make sure we're getting the green vegetables in. Make sure we're drinking plenty of water. Make sure that we are, eating the healthy, the low starch, low carb foods that are going to help us to maintain our energy and not deal with the fatigue. Yes. No, Yolanda, that's so true. There are a lot of different foods that help with your mental health, and people don't believe that, but it is. And being really intentional about it the things you eat, you don't even realize it will affect how you do. Sorry, guys. It will affect how you show up. I even know if you hear people say like gluten, I don't want to get deep into some of the stuff or even certain high carbs, um, complex carbs. They not complex, but the simple carbs. They really do affect you in a negative way. So to minimize that is important. I'm sorry, y'all. I know this how y'all know it's live because I can't even make this stuff up. I'm trying to keep her from licking herself after the surgery, and she's not hearing me. I love you said that your Thanksgiving will be different this year. That's so good. Yolanda, I love that. Yes. Last year I said I was going to do a keto Thanksgiving, and I did not do it. And so you know what? I might be super intentional about trying to do some keto dishes this year for Thanksgiving. So I'm glad you said that because I really do believe in being careful with the low carbs. Oh, you say you're low carb and gluten free? Come on, girl. That is really good. Yes, low carb and gluten free, both of those are really good and they do help with your mental health. It really does. It really does cause you to not deal with some of the highs and the lows of depression and different things. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, so let's see. I think I talked about more sunlight, vitamin D. We talked about eating differently and better, um, making sure you stay social, and that you're doing physical activities. And I think it's one more that I wanted to bring up. Oh, getting the regular amount of sleep. I know sometimes we talk about not getting enough sleep. Let's be careful also about not getting too much sleep. That is such a thing, okay? Um, unless you're sick, okay? Unless you're sick, you need to be very, very careful about not sleeping too much. I've heard people talk about, oh, I slept 12 hours, that 13 hours. And I'm like, unless you like a toddler, what is going on when you're sleeping that much? You got to be very careful. A lot of times that is depression, and you want to be super careful about not allowing it to go unchecked, right? And so, you just want to be very, very careful about that. Um, yes, Yolanda, getting your vitamins in too. That's good to go ahead. And that's especially if you don't eat a good diet, to supplement your diet to get what's necessary. I suggest mostly all natural vitamins. Um, that's it's so important. Yeah, or it's like you said, you can't eat fish, so taking the fish pills will be really good for you, or the omega 3. Omega 3 is particularly great, especially for this sad. Oh my god, for any type of depression, omega 3 pills are amazing. So yes, I'm glad that since you can't eat fish, that you do take that to supplement your diet. It's really good. um so, I mean, does anybody have any particular questions about this? I mean, I know that this is something that's not the funnest subject to talk about, but it's real. It happens. And I don't think people are really being intentional about it, right? They're not being intentional enough about making sure getting fresh air too. So I know I said get more sun, but what if it's a really like cloudy day? Still get outside if you can, because guess what, even through the cloud the sun still shines, and I did not know that you still get sunlight through the clouds. So even if I think it's a gloomy day, there's some benefits to going out there because I still get some sun. It's better than being in artificial light. I'm like, look at that. So, again, things you learn. In getting the fresh air helps you to, that's that walking too. It helps if you can do that. Get that light is really important. And listen, guys, I know that you think you just go through it. Watch your kids too. I'm telling you, these kids are going through stuff too, and they're not telling or they might tell you, and you might think that they're just being lazy. I think you need to be honest, especially if it's like not your kid that just normally does that, and then you notice it happens every time of year around this time. Be more intentional. One thing I did with my son was that I made sure that even when I didn't feel like it, I put him into sports, especially in the winter times. That's why skating was so good for us. Yes, we can't get outside, but guess what? The skating rink is open 24 hours. Not 24 hours, 365 days a year. If it's hot, cold, whatever, he can always go inside and be very active. And that was important to make sure that he was active, even if it wasn't in school, just that he had an activity he can do. It was very important for me to make sure he had that. I'm not trying to sell skating or anything. I'm just saying that was something that was good for us. That was an example. Whatever you think, bowling, whatever, I don't care. Just something to keep the kids active too, because it's very easy for them to even draw into video games more, or in on the internet and having too much um, social media time, right? So we want to make sure that's not happening either. Um, let's see. So I think, oh, here's one I like. It says, sometimes something that can help you is getting your mind ready when the fall is about to shift. So right now, you know how the sun daylight savings time is going to shift over in this month. So maybe doing some really cool things to redecorate the house, doing some maybe putting some autumn stuff up, making doing some positive association with this time of year. I thought that was pretty cool. Basically, instead of going here it is again, it's getting darker, it's getting colder. It's like, ooh, let's go and get some, hot apple cider or get some hot chocolate and let's watch some movies together. Let's decorate for the fall season. Let's go out and go pick apples. Let's go to the winter festival or the autumn festival, something that gives positive association so that it's not a gloom and gloom, because that can also be hard when you're sending that signal, that type of signal. I don't know. Sorry guys, I feel like it's paused for a second. Oh, okay. So Yolanda, you say you teach your kids how to cook and make things. That's really good. Cooking, and having those different type of things to do where you're all around each other, and like especially if you're cooking some type of chili or you're doing cookies or something like that. It's really great because you go ahead and you give those memories and those moments, and the kids look forward to it and you look forward to it. Really good. And I love that you said reading is key. Reading is also very good, that they kind of promote that. Hey, let's go to the bookstore, let's go to the library and get some really cool books and sit up and we have our tea or whatever, and once you finish your book we'll do something fun. So yeah, these are all some amazing ways to really be really proactive about you know what to do when it comes to this SAD, or the seasonal affective disorder. Okay. So I hope that helped, guys. Darn, I totally forgot about the aromatherapy. I don't know if you guys use essential oils and the diffusers. They are really good too. First of all, in the wintertime, the air gets drier. So if you get one of those air diffusers that gives the humidity out, is that called air diffuser? Let me look at what's that. Is that what it's called? Yeah, when it gives the steam that comes out and in air, and it makes the you put the essential oil in it, and it gives you the therapeutic purposes of aromatherapy, along with giving you the extra moisture in your home. So good, so good. Yeah, it's called air diffuser. That's what I thought. Thanks. Yes, so good. It helps. It's super helpful. So listen, y'all. These are the what I want to call it. These are like the codes. You know what I'm saying? The codes. The kids get the codes to the video games. These are the codes to beating this thing and not letting this thing beat you up, right? Don't get me wrong. You still want to go to therapist. You want to still see what they say. But, if you can't do that right now, or if you have done that and you still don't like the different ways, you're still dealing with issues, definitely take some of these suggestions in. Take some of these suggestions in. And then I think that you're going to find out and realize that, again, it's not something that's a doom. It's not a doomsday type thing. You say you got all the oils. Listen, I got quite a set. I got to get me a new diffuser though, and I'm glad you said that. I'm going to order you one from Amazon right now. Right now. Oh, Whitney, you have them too. You have them. Listen, I'm telling y'all, people don't even talk about this stuff enough. It's really good. Yeah, it's good for the home, and they have different ones, different things. I like my lavender. Sometimes I like to use my peppermint oil one. They have different ones for different moods and different things. So it's really good. It resets the moods in my house. So yes. So I love you guys. Go ahead and share this with somebody. You don't realize how many people deal with this and suffer in silence, and they just think that they are crazy. Go ahead and share it. I think, like I said, I think I'm going to use the rest of November to talk about depression and the different types of depression and different things that can help us get past it, and also understanding how to manage it, and also to even understand how to deal with people that have depression when we've probably dealt with them wrong our whole life. We've probably minimized their experiences our whole life. And we need to be very, very much more intentional about how we show up to them and show up ourselves. Um, so, oh yeah, girl. See, that's what we have to address. Not crazy. Absolutely, they call you crazy, girl. Listen, people are so be very word. The word is ignorant, and ignorant just means that they're uneducated about certain things. But see, my thing is, when you're uneducated, you need to be quiet. And unfortunately, we talk more when we don't know more. And so, I want us to definitely dispel the myths of depression and what is it about. And no, you're not crazy if you have depression. No, you're not attention seeking if you have depression. No, no, you're not being extra because you have depression. No, you can't just be happy and that's how it's over with. Like, so we definitely need to talk about this. Definitely minimize. See, guys, I mean, this is a real life example of what happens when we are not educated. So, man, my only goal is us have thank you for being as usual, very transparent, Yolanda. Um, that's why we have to have a talk about it. That's why this platform is very important. I'm aiming, and it's not me, but just let's aim to have conversations that shift perspective, that shift mindsets, that educate a little at a time, that at least just opens the conversation up so that we can do better. That's the whole goal, is just to do better and be better. So yes, guys, meet me on Thursday. We'll be back at it. Um, I love you guys. I appreciate you coming in. Again, share this with someone. Oh, Whitney, I forgot about the lemongrass oil. That is good. That is a good one too. Actually, I had somebody make me a natural body butter with the lemongrass one, and that's really good too. Oh, and they made me a body scrub too. Yep, I like that smell. Um, yes, guys. So I'm gonna end it up today right now, but I love you guys. It's nothing you can do about it. Don't forget, you are enough. You are enough, and you're enough to, you know what? Be honest and thoughtful and self-reflective and get the help that you need so that you can be best that you can be. That's the goal, right? That's the goal. Don't forget, guys. I still have shirts, sweatshirts up on my website, parispjohnson.com. Check it out if you haven't already. I'm gonna get some new merch that drops soon. I got some new stuff for you guys coming. It's gonna be pretty dope for the end of the year. Look out for Black Friday. I'm gonna have a dope offering. So it's coming up, y'all. Can y'all believe it? Thanksgiving, Black Friday. That's like 3 weeks from now. It's right down the street. So we will get it in here. All right. I love you guys. Love you too, Whitney. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. And y'all pray for Onyx because sis is having a whole problem right now, and I don't even know what to do. Love you, Londa girl. I don't even know. I don't even know. I can't even make this up. I don't know. Just pray for you, girl.